Welcome, everyone, to the Bucks County Living Podcast. I'm your real estate resource, Alex Neff. Today, we have the one and only Brie Finehour, a.k.a. Miss Brie, the youth and camp director for the Newtown Athletic Club. Welcome, Brie.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
Thank you so much for coming. So, let's jump right into it. You're the youth and camp director for the Newtown Athletic Club. How'd you get into that? Like, what do you do to get there?
So I always known I wanted to work with kids. I actually wanted to be a teacher as I was a little girl, and then when I went to college, I found a new appreciation for different types of stuff. So I was a Division I athlete. I played rugby, so I was super into sports, but I also was really into nutrition. So I kind of shifted gears midway through college and have a bachelor's degree in nutrition, and then found myself with the master's degree in public health. So as I graduated college, it's funny, I ended up working as a WIC manager, so I was overseeing families and doing nutrition, and then I ended up becoming a behavioral specialist, like a therapist assistant at a rehab. And then, long story short, I found that I really, as I was evolving and doing work with parents, I knew that my real gifts were really working with children. So when I moved out to Bucks County, I knew I needed to change my career and work with kids. So I found myself a job at the Newtown Athletic Club. I actually started as a camp counselor my first summer, and then within 6 months got promoted to the director, now overseeing all of youth, which is aquatics, birthday parties, our kids club, kids programming, and camp, which is quite amazing.
That sounds amazing. So it sounds like everything has always been kind of centered around wellness and health, and really how can we just help people in this world.
Exactly.
And now you found such a wonderful niche with the children of the Newtown Athletic Club. So that's wonderful. So tell me a little bit about Camp NAC. When does that start? What do you guys got going on? Tell me about it.
I could talk for hours about Camp NAC, so I'm sorry, people, if I go on for a little rant. So camp starts June 3rd, and we end September 2nd. So we are probably the longest camp within Bucks County. We go 13 weeks. We work with kids ages from 3 to 15. We offer over 75 unique camps. So our philosophy at camp is really to custom build your summer based on our parents' needs in addition to the campers' needs. So we know every child's very, very unique. We have sports camps, we have STEAM camps, we have creative art camps, we have teen camps, sports camps, half day, and a generic camp for those kiddos that aren't really quite sure exactly what they like. That every day is a different theme. So we really like to model that. It's absolutely incredibly amazing, and we are counting down the days until camp season starts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know one of your slogans is like what, work 9 months to
Live
to
for
live
three.
live for
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
We also say we'll sleep in September. So,
That's wonderful. Tell me, so I know you're starting it's coding camp, right? Like kids that are interested in computer coding and things like that. Tell me a little bit about that.
So coding, we've realized over the past several years that our specialty camps are designed for ages 6 to 12, and really, throughout even COVID, the kids have been becoming natural in computers. So just experiencing as we evolve, and that's one of our big things too. We send out like an end of year survey and ask what the kids would want to see more. They had mentioned that they want to see a little bit more computer work. So we like to stay unplugged at camp as much as possible, right? Super important. But also we decided to design 3 different camps where kids will actually be able to go on the computer, work on coding. We have robots this summer, and they're going to work with that kind of stuff.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you can be playing with robots in the morning at Camp NAC, and then in the afternoon, if you're not familiar with Camp NAC, there's a full-blown water park in the backyard of the Newtown Athletic Club.
Yeah.
So they could be coding in the morning,
Yes.
riding down the water slide in the afternoon, and then at home by dinner.
Yep, exactly.
That's incredible. That's so wonderful. So, tell me, what kind of other things do you offer to the kids throughout the year besides just camp? Because, I mean, camp sounds wonderful, 75 different types, but, camp is only 3 months out of the year. So what else does the day-to-day look like for the kids in the 9 months in the off season?
So off season, strictly with Camp NAC, we do schools out camp. So we know that there's a need for all the kids that have local school districts. When they're off from school, we provide schools out camp. So standard hours are, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. like our camp is in the summer, and we do start 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. for those parents that need to drop off a little bit before and after. So it's actually a really cool experience. We just had a Superfoods camp on the May 17th in addition to Parisi basketball. So the kids get to see each other during the camp season, but also during the school year as well, which is really nice. But the kids that have never been to camp, it's a wonderful experience. So we do provide camps outside of that. And then outside of the day-to-day, if you are a member or a guest for the NAC, we do provide all of this youth programming for kids. We have some classes in the morning during the non-school year and during the school year, in addition to evening classes as well. So we really, our slogan, I would say, within our whole youth department is healthy body, healthy mind.
That's great. That's great because I went to a summer camp as a kid. It was a little different. It was an overnight camp, and they're some of my best friends in the world today. So like, I can only imagine, it was an overnight camp. Shout out Golden Slipper up in the Poconos, and we had some of the best times there. And it was so sad when you have to leave at the end of the summer. It's like school starting. It's such a drag. Kind of back to the reality. But whenever I got to connect with them in the school year, it was the best time that I've ever had, So that's so incredible that at the NAC you're able to not only kind of forge that bond for the kids during the summer, but also they're able to keep it alive throughout the fall and the winter and the off season. So what other so the evening classes, tell me a little bit about that. Is that like they can do their homework after school, or like they come by and do like studying or some tutoring? Like what kind of stuff is that?
Great question. So in the kids club, they could, in theory, bring like their laptops or do their homework, I would say. But really the idea behind that is when the parents come to work out, we match up. When the parents can work out, the kids have classes as well. So we offer gymnastics classes, kids on the go, sports classes, ninjanastics, just to get the kids up and moving. Just, it's such a huge piece for them to continue to meet new kids and evolve and stuff like that, but also for the parents to get a break and be able to work out and have that time. So the NAC is absolutely wonderful. I would say it's a one-stop shop. You can probably do any single thing you think possible there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's
now,
so cool.
I want to back up for a second. Did you say ninjanastics?
Ninjanastics. Ninja.
Is that like American Ninja Warrior style?
We're getting there. It's like little parkour, trampoline, obstacle courses. They're hanging on stuff. So we have a camp all summer that they do ninjanastics obstacle courses.
That's so cool.
It is cool.
That's so cool. Man, we just played Gaga in a sand pit when I was a kid. That was, ninjanastics. Holy moly, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what really was your inspiration and your motivation to get into this field?
I feel like just making a difference in kids' lives is absolutely my gift from God, and that's truly what it is. So, as a kid, I remember being like athletic. I like sports. I liked doing arts and crafts, but I remember kind of like struggling to find like people and like being a little bit quiet. So it's super important for me to help kids this day and age. I know like emotions are different. We're going through challenges. I have stress as a adult. I can only imagine the stresses as a kid. So what my goal is working with kids is to really try and teach them like a positive experience. So whether that's coming in and finding another outlet, something that they like to do creative wise, meeting friends, having a good experience, all that kind of stuff is just what I love about camp. But we changed our hashtag a few years ago. We still say it's making summer better because we do, but the hashtag that I believe in is like be your unique, right? So they come to camp and you like choose whatever makes you happy. So I could come to camp and do a cooking camp one week, and the next week I could do an art camp. And the following week, I could do a sports camp, like catch Miss Brie in flag football all day, every day, but also catch her in meditative art because she loves doing essential oils and all that types of stuff. And that's what we want the kids to do. And that's, for me, the joy. Honestly, when I come to camp, like when I say we live 9 months for 3, like as much as I love doing what I'm doing, like these kids bring me absolute joy. I feel like a superhero when they just come in and love you every single day. And to see them come in with a smile is like, how can you beat that? Like, I live for that. Even the schools out camps, I'm like, I missed you. And I'm like, I missed you too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the best parts as a camp kid, It was like if the cool counselor or the cool administrative staff came back, it was like, oh, we missed you so much. And we were like dragging on your ankles and pulling you down, So that's great. That's so wonderful. It is such a fulfilling feeling. And I'm so glad that, that you're there to really make a difference. Because, I know you on a personal level, too. So it's really wonderful to really see you grow and thrive at the Newtown Athletic Club. So
thank you.
That's incredible. So I want to rewind a little bit. The kids can choose different camps each week.
Yeah.
So they can kind of have like a passion for ninjanastics one week, and then they want to go and do flag football camp for the next week. And they have 13 weeks to kind of choose from.
Yeah. Yeah, so really, there's not like a minimum or maximum amount of weeks that they have to enroll in for camp. Like, I know some other camps require like 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So you pick and choose what weeks you need your kids, because we know parents are going on vacations. We want to make it flexible. We want to be accommodating as much as possible. So a child can go from flag football camp to cooking camp the next week. But the cool thing is, when we are talking to the parents, like, we go so much deeper. We have such an intent with our camp that if a child doesn't, like, when they go from specialty camp to specialty camp, they might not see the same friends. So I always ask the parents questions like, how does your child do meeting new kids? Because if they want consistency, and in my mind, consistency is key to some extent for some children, right? Then we would put them in our typical Naxter camp, because it breaks them up by grade, and they will most likely see some familiar faces. But when they go into specialty camps, if they're fine going back and forth, they meet new faces, and that's totally fine. So we offer it for any single child, right? Like, we are custom building the summer based on how to set your child up for success as much as possible. So it is really, really cool to see these kids bounce around and try different things. One of our campers, I'll just give you a little story. She tried gymnastics camp, and now she's on the gymnastics team at the Newtown Athletic Club.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible. Just to see like that passion go through. Amazing. Because they got to experience gymnastics camp at camp.
Yeah,
And they
that's
loved
great.
it. And now she's thriving. And she shows me all these cool things. And just a little secret, I can't even touch my toes, so I'm not good at gymnastics. I don't really know what's going on. But she's so excited just to show me when she does these really cool things in the bars or the balance beams. And it's like, that's amazing.
That's incredible. And that was all from just somebody planting the seed about gymnastics
Yeah.
camp at the NAC, and now she's on the team.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So there's two. So basically, from what I understand, you have the 75 different specialty camps, or over 75, and then you also have regular Naxter, as you called it. So that's more just breaking it down for kids grade by grade.
Yes.
Boys stay with the boys, girls stay with the girls.
We do a little bit of both
okay.
with the Naxter. So the special camps at 6 to 12, they kind of stay together, like in terms of going to lunch and swimming pool. We'll try and break them up a little bit, but Naxter, yep, mainly by grade. We will have girls and boys together, but the beauty of Naxter is that we give them a little creative freedom as we get to know the kids. If, like, not saying that it needs to be girls versus boys, but if some of the kids want to go do Zumba with an instructor, we'll modify that and put that in their schedule, versus if the other ones want to go on the playground.
Okay.
Like, it's pretty cool. So they do get to interact and kind of pick and choose. But the idea with Naxter, it's like a little bit of everything. So one week there's a little art, the next week might be science, and then like sports, but they go on field trips. So that is one of the camps that go on field trips, which is super special. The only other camps that go on field trips is our teens, which I'm a little jealous I can't attend those field trips. And we like rock, paper, scissors, shoot what manager's going. And then junior golfers, they actually go to the Snipes.
Oh,
and
Snipe Farm.
Yep, they go 4 days out of the week, and the other time they go into the NAC and do our in-club virtual golf system.
That is great.
Yeah.
So what kind of field trips do the kids do? Where do they go? What else do they do besides golf?
Yeah, the younger ones. So the younger ones do mini golf, bowling, Elmwood Zoo, Giggleberry, Funzilla. Our teens will go to Six Flags, paddle boarding, Belmar Beach. They're going to a water park this summer. I mean, it's incredible. Right?
Yeah, it sounds like they get to travel like all over the East Coast during
it's pretty amazing.
during the summer.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
And all while the parents can, go to work
Yes.
and do whatever they got to do. If they want to do a workout, they can just drop off their kid and do that. That's wonderful.
Yes.
That is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, camp has changed a lot since I was a kid.
It has. And what's going to be really cool this year is that we started working with Google. So we're getting a My Camp app that is Camp NAC. So again, we really appreciate any feedback is good feedback, right? So we always ask parents, well, how can we improve our camp? So we are getting an app so parents can get real-time updates, pictures live of what their kids are doing this summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you'll be taking a picture. 3 minutes later, it's on the app for the parent to see.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So tell me about your support staff, because obviously it takes a whole village to run the Newtown Athletic Club.
Yes.
So you being the director, you're like the keystone. You are the person that is like the go-to, puts out, whatever kind of issues or good and bad, right? Whatever it is. Tell me about the support staff. What kind of backbone do you have at the NAC?
I would say I'm very, very blessed with the amount of support I have. That's one thing that I'm like super appreciative of working at the NAC. Even from my boss to all the way to anyone that's working as my counselors, everyone is so supportive, and that's like the reason I love being there. It's a community, so I have so much support from my bosses in helping me make decisions. But in terms of like my support staff specifically for camp, I do have an assistant director, and it's funny. Every year we take a picture at the end of like we did it, and it went from like 3 during COVID to like 5 last summer, and now we're probably about a team of 10. So it's really cool to watch us evolve. But we do have a nurse on site Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. As a support staff, we have assistant director. We'll have managers overseeing, 2 managers overseeing our specialty camps, 2 managers overseeing our Naxter camp. We'll have a lead with our little ones. We have leads for our teen camp. We have a floating manager as well, and then we did hire a support counselor again this summer. So support counselor is going to be helping when even if a staff are having larger than life feelings, need someone to talk to, need to step away, just things happen, life gets lifey, camps gets campy, right? And the kids, if they have big emotions, we have support staff to have them pull them away and have discussions. I like to call it a time in, so we don't call it a time out. Staff can say taking a break, but it's really a time to reflect, a time in of how we're feeling and how can we help, whether it's a staff or camper. So we have a whole team this summer that is just absolutely amazing humans.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so incredible.
That's great, because I feel like that makes the director job so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to really impact the life of a child and really kind of give them that spark to find their passion, but it's another thing to also have an impact like that on adults, on working professionals that are there to have that same impact, that like-minded giving spirit. So that is so much more beneficial, I think, than anything that I've ever experienced. It's one indescribable feeling. So I really like where you said a time in, or like taking a break. It kind of reminds me, there's this, I was reading an article probably a few months ago. There's this school that instead of like giving detention for kids, they do meditation for kids. So do you kind of have that same approach where it's not so much a timeout, it's not so much think about what you've done, it's more of like, why don't we kind of like peel away what's going on in the situation and just kind of reflect on like what the root of the problem is? Can you share a little bit about that?
We do so much of that. We have cozy corners set up. So I guess like the idea would be kind of like reflecting, right? So we have cozy corners set up. I'm going to kind of get off topic and then I'll get back, but we do mindfulness in our camps as well. So some of our camps do meditation and yoga built into the schedule. So when it comes to like a child needing to take away, or having a discussion, or having these big feelings, whether it's happy, sad, whatever it is, we go so deep into starting from the very beginning. So when I have a family help like enroll in camp, in a camper application, we have it designed that we want to know the child's best learning environment, any additional information we need to know, whether it's they're a little nervous to make friends, whether if they get frustrated, they just can draw, just any tips and tricks. Again, I use a word, and I say to parents all the time, we want to set your child up for success. So as we do these times in, we have our staff read over during our attendance sheets. We'll kind of put like little notes for them to know. And these attendance sheets, we always kind of put underneath so no other child gets to read it, but we always have morning meetings and go over what type of, like, what our camp looks like each week and who we're working with. So we kind of dive in, and then when we do these times in, I like to, again, like tell the parents, like, I almost want to know your child before they even enter camp, right? So I want to come in knowing how we can handle the situation best. So from past experiences, we will set up like if a child, like a 3 to 5 year old, needs a behavior chart, we've done that with them, but I'll call home, right? Like, so we get to know the kid, we ask them questions after they take their time in and they're ready to have a discussion, because some kids don't want to right away. They're very frustrated, and that's really not the best time for them. So they can sit, they can draw, they can take a moment, they can read a book, they can pause, we can go for walks. It's really like we're helping each child, and then we go a little deeper, and then what usually ends up happening is we'll call the parent and kind of understand and say, hey, this is what we're noticing at camp, what do you do at home, what happens at school, and how can we mirror that, right? So whether it's we set up a little sticker chart for Johnny and that's what works at home, and we do that because they do that at school, or we kind of figure out and talk through like bigger feelings if we just, need to add like a little coloring space. There was a little boy last summer that he would get a little frustrated, and really all he needed was his notepad and pencil. But if we didn't know that he needed, like if he got up and he wanted to just do that outside of an activity, our counselor, if we didn't know that, probably would have been like, hey, like we can't do that. We got to do this activity. But reality is that child really needed it at that moment. And because we take that time to really look at each person,
Yeah, that was like
we're
his
able
his
to,
outlet.
yeah, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
So we do, and we can do meditations and we do stuff like that. It's really whatever the kid needs.
I think that's wonderful because whether you're 6 days old or 60 years old,
Right.
we're all due for a bad day every once in a
Yeah.
while, and to really be able to give the child a safe space to come to, whether they're having a good day or a bad day, whatever it is, we're going to figure out. We're going to help you.
Yeah.
We're going to help you in whatever the problem is. We'll help
Yeah.
solve it, and we'll figure out a solution to really a healthy solution,
Yeah.
and not just throwing a temper tantrum or
Yeah.
affecting the other kids or whatever it is. So that's wonderful, and that's incredible. So, cause definitely not a one person job. That takes the village.
It is a village, and I will say, so for staff training this summer, we're going a little even deeper. So as much as we help kids, it's important for our leadership team to help all of our staff, right? So same kind of concept with the kids, like understanding them for who they are. When we are doing our staff training this summer, we actually sent them all a love language quiz. So what I had told them is that I want them to answer these questions as they were working at Camp NAC. So on our name tags, we're going to have 2 different colored stickers, where we just pick the top 2, although everyone has, could have more than just 2 love languages. But the idea is to understand how we can help best create a safe space for our counselors. So whether I'm a person, which my top 2 are acts of service, which means if I need help, when my managers say, hey Brie, what do you need help with, I'll do that. That like makes me feel appreciated. Or when someone's like, hey, you're doing a great job, like we are able to help our staff, who then will trickle that and model that behavior down to our campers. So we might not ask the campers their love language, but the concept of them understanding that every child's different, just as in themselves needs a little different,
Everybody has their own style of nurturing and their own style of being appreciated.
Right. It's the idea of that we're all different, but it's like a beautiful little puzzle. But hey, if we have these little tools, we can really, really help someone even more.
That's incredible. I think I really feel like in my heart that's kind of like the bigger picture. Camp NAC is supposed to be fun and exciting, but it's also like a safe space for your kid to just kind of be themselves.
Yeah.
Just be themselves and explore whatever they want to explore. Really find a passion that they enjoy, and like you said, set them up for success. And I think that is the most important thing out of it all. So. That's incredible. Thank you so much, Brie. It has been such a pleasure. I do have the big 3. These are the 3 top questions that I ask everybody on the podcast. And since this is episode 1,
Woo!
You are the first person that I get to ask the big 3 to. So my first question is, what do you think makes Bucks County such a great place to live?
So, I mean, I just feel fortunate enough to be in Bucks County. Like, when I think of Bucks County, I'm from like outside of Reading, PA. Never did I think I would end up in Bucks County, but as I come here and the longer I stay, I just feel like it's a community of people that are just so supportive. And honestly, like being in Bucks County, everything is pretty close too, which I enjoy. I can go to Philly, I can go to Jersey, I can do whatever I want. And then working in Newtown, I just feel like it's just such an incredible place, right? Like I just feel like Bucks County is a wonderful community that is just kind of all there for the same reason, at least in my experience.
It really is. I like to use the term wonderfully unique because we're fixed right between Philadelphia and New Jersey. Ton of history, ton of beauty. It's just it's a nice suburb.
Yeah, it is.
So awesome. What is your favorite restaurant in Bucks County?
I have to say Harvest. So I'm a vegan and gluten-free person, so it's not hard for me to eat. I'm very lucky to be in Newtown because they are like coming up with these new trends and diet. So Harvest is lovely. If you haven't been there, I recommend it 1,000%. They change seasonally, so they do accommodate to having gluten-free and vegan options, which is so nice. And the staff is just wonderful there.
That's awesome. That is great. And my last question is, where can people find out more about you and about Camp NAC?
So you can go to www.campnac.com. So all of our information is on our website. We have our brochure, we have our camps at a glance, we have a virtual tour. You can download our camp call sheet, and you can directly message me, email me at brie@campnac.com.
Awesome. Bree, thank you so much for coming on the Bucks County Living Podcast. It has been such a pleasure. And as always, I'm Alex Neff, your real estate resource in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. If you have any questions about real estate, please give me a call about Bucks County Living. Thank you.